The following production is part of the We Be Geeks podcast collective.
From days long ago, from uncharted regions of the universe, comes a legend.
The dream that came through a million years, that lived on through all the tears.
It came here, the Fandom Nexus.
Fabulous secret powers were revealed to our host as he plugged in his microphone.
I have a podcast!
Here he is, your Spider-Pan, Jeremy.
Hello. So I'm British. Why am I British?
I'm not sure.
I am not sure either, but I am back. Yes, it is me, and I'm hearing a little bit of echo myself. Today we're recording in the kitchen, and one of these days I'm going to get you a different mic. I really am. Well, I guess you can't bring it any closer to yourself, can you? Yeah. The problem is we're across from a table, and his microphone picks me up as well from the echo.
Someone's in the kitchen with Jeremy.
And it's the Phil, the Lost Boy Phil, for anyone who doesn't know who that voice is. Like, if you're brand new to this show, you're probably thinking, you probably have very bad sound quality. But then listen what happens when I do this, how different it is. But now you can't hear Phil. He's about to say something and no one's going to know it. He's talking over there and nobody hears him. I turn his microphone on.
They can hear me now.
Yeah, and now they can hear me echo. It's not always the greatest. One of these days I will have some better stuff. It's like I got a high quality microphone, but I had to buy a cheap one for the co-host. I will get you a better microphone.
So you're saying I'm cheap? I'm not worth it? Is what? No,
I'm just saying I wasn't able to get you a better microphone. And
that's okay.
But anyways, enough of that. We got so much fun stuff to really talk about. This is a show I meant to record last weekend because we are going to talk about our thoughts of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. But I figure, having this week off delay gives everybody else a chance to see it. So there's not much of a chance that I'm going to spoil anything, because if you were really interested in seeing it, my guess is you probably went by now.
Chances are you've seen it already.
Yeah. So I figure we're okay. And if anybody didn't catch the Batman reference he just made there, then go back to 1989. You got to go check it out, man. The 1989 Batman. But anyways, we got that. Plus, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of our fun we had. Free Comic Book Day was just I guess it was last weekend from where we're sitting now. But we had some fun there. I did pick up some things, and I now have a bit more, I guess, detail on some of the things we've been talking about coming up in Marvel Comics. Also, something I've been hearing about DC. We've got a lot of comic stuff to talk about. Plus, for our main attraction, I'm going to have to give some credit to the Lore podcast. I'm a little behind on that one, but I heard a story on Lore that made me do a little bit of research. And I'm having a bit more research done by somebody else, and I'm hoping I'll hear back, and maybe he's going to learn a little bit more. But I want to tell you a story in our main content, and this will be great for all you Disney fans that are still here. This story is going to sound a little bit familiar. And I'll just say that. But it's going to be kind of fun. But I was like, I found some actual story that I don't know if it's fully connected, but I'm hoping somebody who's much smarter on this sort of thing than I is going to find out if there really is a connection, or somebody was familiar with this story back in the 60s or so. Yes, indeed. When a certain attraction was being designed. So, yes, I thought it was very interesting. So I know, and it's something that would maybe fit more if we were doing a Halloween show, but I was so excited about this because I am still a fan of this attraction, and I'm still a fan of the parks in most parts, and I'm a vintage Disney fan. I will gladly say I'm a vintage Disney fan. Some of that stuff they're doing now, we don't want to talk about.
Classic.
The classic, yes. I'm still wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt right now as we sit here record this. I am wearing Mickey. I still love it, even though we don't cover it for reasons I don't need to get into again.
Mickey's covering him.
Mickey's covering up, so nobody can see my fat hairy chest, or at least Phil can't see it.
That's right.
Well, of course, he's got a window right behind him, which is probably why I'm getting so much reflection. Maybe next time we record in this kitchen, I should sit on that end. But of course, I'm trying to be near the plug because I'm using a laptop to keep my notes on. So, I think that's probably why I get so much echo, is because you got a window right behind you, and it's just bouncing the sound right back into your microphone. Now that I think about it, So it's not really good planning on my point whenever we've recorded in my kitchen instead of your basement. We sound pretty good. We do in your basement room area there, or your little kind of apartment that you've had to move into due to some health conditions and stuff. That I'm hoping by June we're going to get some good resolution on that, and things are going to get better. So, and you're going to be able to breathe better, and
hopefully,
there's a lot of things that So if y'all are praying, people be praying for Phil, because we're trying to make sure he stays on this earth here a little bit longer. He's got things to do. Amen. So anyway. But yeah, that's some of the stuff we're going to be talking about today. Of course, I have a lot of good fun games and toys and all kinds of fun stuff to talk about as usual. But of course, we start everything with Host Chatter, which Phil has recommended with this Halloween. Host Chatter will be known as Ghost Chatter. I got to remember to do that. That should be fun. But all right, so what have you been watching? And this is our chance to review now that the series has concluded. And hopefully, if you were interested in watching Moon Knight, you have completed watching it. Now, you've seen the final episode now, right?
I did, yeah.
So we can now talk about our overall thoughts of the entire 6-episode series. Overall, I'd say I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I think I have brought up where some people kind of had noted, because they are trying to, and some people will call it the MCU, because they're trying to have a lot more female heroines brought in.
I never heard of that. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, the MCU it's being dubbed because heck, even Kevin Feige has talked about he wanted to bring in more of the lady heroes, but yet, what the first lady of Marvel is going to be the Invisible Woman, and it's like, come on,
Well, absolutely.
you got to bring her in. But they're not necessarily doing it right, because he also has pointed out, like, it seems nearly every major Marvel male has to get kneed in the groin by the quote-unquote strong female. The women seem to be able to just teach themselves and somehow or another become superior to the men because they've taught themselves. They have to constantly be acknowledged and told that how awesome they are. It's like, that's not building them the right way. You got to build them the same way you do the male heroes and let them... I mean, because heck, we got to see Iron Man struggle and have his personality flaws as they slowly learn to become the hero and suddenly care about more than himself in those films. I mean, we speaking of Doctor Strange, we get to see him be this jerk, and he learns to because there's things bigger than himself, and he has to, and that's a big thing. Even the second movie, at the beginning, he had to give up some things in order to be the person to protect the world.
The one thing I have hope for. There's rumors that I'm hoping you've seen the film. If you're listening to this, you don't want to hear what I'm about to say. But the Scarlet Witch.
Maybe we'll save that for later.
Oh, okay. I'll wait.
Because we're going to get divulged off of where my point was going if we go too far.
You're right. I just more or less talking about a female character who it does have development continuously going.
Yeah. But that's the thing. We need to see those character flaws, and we need to see them be terrible and yeah, there's ways to do that. But this person had pointed out that it seemed like, because when I was watching and hearing this person talk about it, so we were 4 episodes into Moon Knight, and he timed it out. The Moon Knight himself had only been seen for about 4 minutes in the 4th episode. It's like we're already past the halfway point, and we've barely seen the hero. And instead of the main character being, wow, my brain just went. But we got Stephen Grant, an alternate personality, which made it interesting, but we got him instead of his actual personality, Mark Spector, who Mark Spector, of course, is this mercenary. He's all this military training and all this kind of stuff. But by using Stephen Grant, we were able to have him seem weaker, so Layla could be around and lead him around in the archaeology and be the strong female. Now, the other thing is, I don't recall at any point up to the final episode that Layla was anything more than really smart and an archaeologist, which is fine. All of a sudden, when she's granted to be an avatar, she's suddenly got fighting skills to rival Mark. Where did those fighting skills come from?
I assume the Avatar.
Yeah, well, the Avatar didn't teach Mark Spector how to fight. He already knew how to fight. That's why he was chosen to be an Avatar.
Well, that's true.
See? What Avatar did she get? A hippo who steers a boat. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Now, then the other thing that I had to roll my eyes at in the final episode, because the final episode, while it was good, also had some really big problems, and that's where I didn't like. And it's okay that you see her, Layla, save some people, but they made it a point that we looked right at one younger girl, right in the face. The only person you couldn't pick out anybody else out of the lineup that was saved in this car, except for this one girl. And it was also just for the point, it's like, oh, we have an Egyptian superhero. It's like, that's right, I am an Egyptian superhero. And that's forced representation.
Yeah.
It's like, we have to say, look at me, I'm being an Egyptian superhero. Looky, 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 virtue signal. That was not necessary.
Yeah, I agree.
You could have just made Layla an interesting character and let her be the Avatar and let her learn and grow, just not instant awesome like that. Let her learn to be I'm an Avatar now. Let me see what I can do to help Mark. And let her learn and grow and become an awesome person instead of just instant awesome and then have to have that moment where we have to say, like, yes, we have an Egyptian now. Ha ha, aren't we awesome? That's where you lose me right there. It's like, do it, but you don't have to, like Uhura, never on Star Trek did Uhura have to say like, look, we have a black woman on communications. Look at her. They never did that. Uhura was just there doing her thing. We knew it was a black woman on communications. We would just, Uhura was just doing her thing. And we loved Uhura just because she was Uhura and she was awesome. So, and heck, when Martin Luther King even told the actress that, you keep doing what you're doing, I love what you're doing on Star Trek. And it wasn't because they were making a big deal of it. She was just there being an important part of the crew.
No.
And that's all it took. And if Marvel and Disney could just learn that. It's like, you know what? We don't mind all these other characters.
So what you're saying
but
is,
do it right.
What you're saying is less is more?
Yeah, less is more. Have them be part of that. Like Eternals could have been good had they done it where they were like, you know what? We want to have like people that look all kinds of different people. Well, that's fine. But you don't have to make a big deal that is when they go in front of from San Diego Comic-Con, it's like, look, this is the most diverse cast we've ever had.
Yeah,
you didn't need to do that. You just like, here's our cast. We're making this movie, and it's gonna be. We're hoping you're gonna love it. That's all really you needed.
To be truthful, I hated that film, but it was amazing. It was boring, and
they dropped the ball big time.
To me, it seemed like the film should have just been called The Virtuous Team, and
virtue signaling the movie.
But in truth, I just didn't think it was very well written. And,
no, it wasn't.
But that's not to say the actors weren't any good, because the actors were just fine.
Well, you had some great actors in there.
Tremendous.
And some, kind of interesting characters, but somehow or another, it just didn't work.
Well, first of all, anytime you feel that you have to go woke, just because that's what's popular at the time.
Yeah. Being woke for woke's sake.
Yeah, woke for woke's sake. I like that.
Yeah.
Ewok, as the Star Wars would be Ewok, but the little Ewoks.
That's an insult to the Ewoks. So I love Ewoks.
Hikala. No, but anyway, the fact of the matter is,
it's funny. It's just like Hikala. That's because it's like that's exactly what they do. Look, he colored. Look, he colored over there. See, we have a colored person.
No, that's terrible.
And that's exactly what they're doing. They're not just like, oh, hey, this is that hero.
Yeah,
that's all you really have to do.
Because it shouldn't matter what they are as far as race goes, or if you're going to go that route, then before too long, look, we have a person who's 6'7", or look, we have a person who's 5'10", because there's people who are different in that way.
Yeah.
And
but matter. Nobody's going for that cause of height yet.
They will.
Well, one of these days, we're going to have to bring in an overweight character because, otherwise, hey, you're fat shaming that all your superheroes are either skinny or muscular.
I've already heard things like that.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. They'll turn the Blob into a hero or something.
Well, I'm an overweight man.
Yeah, and so am I.
It doesn't offend me.
Yeah, I'm not offended that Superman doesn't look like me.
No, the fact of the matter is I am Superman. No,
that's right.
I'm kidding. In all reality, I don't need people to look like me because it's about
to be able to relate.
It's about the character of a person, not the character itself.
Right. Yeah. Let what they do, their character, not the character, but their character be the example, the characteristics
of a person.
Yeah. But I don't mind having them all different kind of peoples, but you don't have to go and point it out. You just have to, there it is, whatever, and just let it be a natural thing. Because, if I meet people of different colors, it's just a natural thing to be like, hey, I'm not going, oh, hey, I need to go talk to a black person today. It'll be like, oh, hey, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I don't. When I say I don't care, what I mean to say is seeing someone of a different race doesn't stop me.
Yeah.
If anything, I don't mean it's just any kind of thing, but what I mean to say is, if I see someone of a different race, I'm already going to talk to them. But
because you talk to everybody.
I do. Well, that's what I do.
I'm not going to treat you different just because you're a different color.
But I will make sure that I talk to them so that a person wouldn't believe that I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like if I saw someone come to my church, which I'm going to talk to me when I am.
But isn't that weird that you have to do that? Like, if I don't talk to you, you're going to think that I hate you because of your color or something.
Well, most people wouldn't, but there are some
there are people like that.
There might be some.
And that's the problem, because that would be actually a racist attitude that they have. It's like, oh, well, this white person didn't talk to me because they're because they're racist.
When I was a younger man,
you just don't talk to, usually don't talk to strangers.
When I was a younger man,
except you.
I was accused of that. Because when I was real young, I was shy, super shy. I mean, embarrassingly shy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that I squanched that as I got older, not to let anyone believe that about me personally. And I thought, no, because I love all people. I don't care the situation. I want to do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. That's the goal of us. That's out of the Bible. But I try really hard to treat people like I want them to treat me. That doesn't mean they're going to. But,
Yeah.
that's how we should be.
And the main thing is, I'm not going to give you special treatment. I'm going to treat you the same way I treat everybody else.
Yeah.
And that means I'm probably going to be friendly.
Now, I'll be honest, there's times
thing.
with my health that I don't feel good, and this is going to sound really cruel. It sounds I don't want to talk to people. Even as a pastor, I don't want to talk to people, but I do it anyway. I ignore my want tos and do what the need tos are. I need to be kind, but I don't always want to.
Right.
Because there's some people say, just do what you want to do. No, don't always do what you want to do.
Sometimes you got to do what you need to do.
Do the necessities.
Can't be the hero that they want. I'll be the hero that they need.
And that was, yes, I'm purposely being a very bad Batman, because I was almost mixing a little bit of Muppet in there. It's Muppet Man, Muppet Batman.
Because otherwise, I'd be talking like this.
Yeah.
I heard like 20 characters and
20 characters in one.
You had like Bobcat Goldthwait in there a little bit.
For those who remember, hi, I'm on Police Academy. So we still love that guy. He was funny back in the day.
Oh boy,
I'm sure he's still funny now. I mean, he's still living, but yeah. But anyway, so that was my overall thoughts on Moon Knight. I still really enjoyed it, had a good time with it. And Oscar Isaac, give that man an Emmy.
Oh, he did a good job.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I liked him as Poe anyway. I mean, let's face it, those Star Wars movies were not great, but they did have some good actors.
He was really
and
great.
Oscar Isaac is just tremendous.
Well, seeing how he was I'm talking about the Star Wars movies now, seeing how he was so affable and so good at what he does, I'm talking about likable.
Yeah.
Good at what he does is that he wasn't supposed to make it through that rep.
Right.
And J.J. Abrams said, no, wait a minute.
Yeah, because apparently he even told J.J., like, every movie I'm in, I die.
Yeah.
Because up to that point he did, and that made him a star, though, to let him be in the rest of his movies, which is awesome.
Why they didn't meet until, in talking about the Star Wars movie, they didn't meet until later on.
Yeah,
because he wasn't supposed to make it.
Wasn't supposed to come back.
But man, he was likable.
Yeah, and the ladies really like him. He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. He reminds me a lot of Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Where Hugh Jackman is just severe. When you see him he is just severely affable, and he's such a good-looking guy that guys like him as much as the lady. Well, no, the ladies like him a different way, I'm sure. He's just a handsome dude. Well, but we like him just because he's so affable and such a nice guy. And Oscar Isaac just comes across the same way.
That's the kind of way that George Clooney always was back in the day.
Yeah.
Because he was not only handsome for the women, but he's the kind of person that a guy would want to hang around with as a friend.
Although we would severely disagree on a few things, that's for sure.
We would, but still, he's an affable person.
But he's affable, so you get along. Tom Hanks is not a bad-looking guy, but he's more known for being just a good, nice person.
Yeah, very likable.
But that goes a long way, just to be affable. And just, if you can be affable to everybody, that's the point.
I've met quite a few folks, signings and all, and some people come off different, but most of them just come off real likable. I'm not saying they'll remember me, but some people just come off. For instance, Sergeant Slaughter, just one of the nicest guys. I haven't gotten to meet him yet. Oh, he's just so super kind that he remembers me all the time. When Seth has talked to him online, he remembers me. Oh, but I met him a few times when I was down there. He was so super kind, checking on me and making sure I was okay. Just so super nice. I mean, I don't know if I've met people quite that nice before, but him and Ted DiBiase.
I want to meet him too.
Oh, so super kind.
I got to meet Hacksaw Jim Duggan, though.
Another one,
Hacksaw's so much fun. He's so nice, and he's so funny.
Oh yeah,
he's fun to watch on his Facebook. He puts up videos. Yeah, he's actually was over in Epcot this week too, and he's got a really funny video he put up on Facebook. Because he's been traveling. He's been to Alaska and he's visited his daughter in Florida, and his wife and his daughters and everything. They all went to Epcot, and he gets on a video. It's like, I've spent an hour in the ring with Ric Flair. I have wrestled Hulk Hogan. I've wrestled all these people, and it didn't get exhausted. But spend one day in Epcot, and he falls over into a chair. I was like, that's the type of humor he has.
He's a great guy.
He's so funny. He's just a delight.
All sorts of other people. For instance, people say what they want to about William Shatner.
Bill Farmer's so nice to meet too.
I love
He's
William
awesome.
Shatner.
Oh.
He was the fact that
he is the Shat.
The fact that he took time to meet me and didn't have to, if you remember.
Yeah.
And didn't charge me, by the way, because I just come out of brain surgery and he
and
did
you
that
looked
for
a
me.
mess that day.
Oh, I did. But he
so he could
sat
see
with
it.
Me.
Yeah.
He sat with me and he didn't charge me, which I thought was very kind that he did that for me. There's a lot of things that different people have done for me that just changed things for me. Hogan, others, I really appreciate him. So
yeah, I just wish I had a better interaction with Peter Mayhew because he was I think not feeling well the day that I got to meet him, and I didn't have any money to get any more autographs. I just saw he didn't have a line. I was like, I just want to come and meet you and shake your hand and say thank you. And he kind of did this eye roll, like whatever, when he shake my hand, and I was like, ooh,
sick, yeah.
I was like, he probably wasn't feeling well because every other story I've heard with Peter Mayhew is he was just the nicest person. But
yeah, for me,
he can be like anybody else, having a bad day, you know. So
he was for me.
Yeah, I wish I'd have gotten a better meetup with him because now he's gone. But anyways, that was our review of Moon Knight.
Sorry, that was went in a weird way.
That was our review of the Moon Knight TV show. So if you haven't watched it, I hope we didn't spoil anything. But yeah, it was enjoyable. I do hope they do some more with characters. It was
very good,
soon.
Very fun.
Yeah. Well, they did. I think they did let something go towards the end where they can have some more things happen. I think didn't they drop something at the end of it?
Oh, but I got to tell you, the actor in there, what's his name, the villain?
Oh, he is so good. Ethan Hawke.
Ooh, man, he was good.
He's so good.
He was outstanding in there.
There's actually some really good. I think IGN posted this video where he's talking about, that he loves because he's done like some high end level drama stuff, and even popped up in Blade Runner 2049. He's known at the indie films, all this stuff. But he says like, you know what? Some of my favorite films are even just fun Marvel films. He's like, we have to be able to just have fun and enjoy movie, whether it's art, it's all art, whether it's a high art or low art, it should just be fun, and we should just encourage people to go and check it out.
But he brought some realism to it. I mean,
he does.
You tell he makes it so deep. I mean, almost seems Shakespearean in a sense when he's in it.
He plays a good villain because he makes it so grounded.
You can tell he's thinking.
Even like in the 2049, because he was kind of terrifying in 2049.
Yeah.
Or was that Jared Leto in 2049?
I think it was Jared Leto.
Yeah, it was Jared Leto in Blade Runner. Which, Jared Leto is someone who's a good actor, but sometimes has a role that he's just not good for, like the Joker. But yeah, I guess it was Jared Leto that's in Blade Runner 2049, and he was scary.
Yeah,
but he was very good at being just like straight kind of grounded. Like he had a reason for all the horrible things he does. So I'm like, I'm not being horrible.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Ethan Hawke was doing with his character. He's like, I'm not being horrible. I'm fixing the world.
He thought he was
removing all the people who are just going to do horrible things later. Even if they haven't done it now, they're going to.
Yeah, he just
need to remove
as a
I'm
savior.
making a better world. Don't you see? Oh, he was scary that way.
Yeah, he thinks himself as a hero almost. Like a savior.
He thought he was the hero the whole time, and oh my goodness, made such a. And I guess his character that he was playing in the comics is normally like a minor villain, but he made even if you take a minor villain, you can make him super interesting and do some really neat things with the character, and they did. All right, so now, of course, what have you been playing? I can almost say every week. Of course, I was playing some WWE 2K over the last couple weeks, but I actually did a couple different things. This I'm calling almost a mistake. But I found out, hey, Max Payne is actually available, for the PS4. What I thought I was going to be getting was a remastered version for PS4 that was going to be all fixed up and maybe enhance graphics, maybe enhance some of the play. But no, it was actually just a direct port of the PS2 version of Max Payne. And it's got one major flaw that they, for some reason, got in there, because normally on the old copies of Max Payne, you could do a quick save, and you could, do a save where you're at within a chapter. Like right before, if you're going to do something challenging, you could do a quick save, and then you could, if you fail it, okay, well, I've just got to go back to that. I don't have to start the whole chapter over. Well, this version on the PS4, they have bits in Max Payne where it, for some reason, turns into you're walking across these tiny little ledge bits or whatever, and or something like that, and you could really easily fall because it's not a game that's really positioned very well for you to walk on these platforming things where you could fall off and just instant death. So it becomes problematic when I can't do a quick save before I do it, and so I have to start the entire chapter over and redo a whole bunch of stuff. And I've just gotten to a point where I've gotten stuck, and I haven't even gotten through the first section of the game before on Max Payne you have these nightmares that he has where he goes like these blood trail things that he's got to walk on that are like a balancing act, and you could very easily fall off of those. And I can imagine getting to that, having to start the whole thing over when some of those times it's a veritable maze of things, and I really didn't want to have to get back into that. So I'm not recommending actually playing Max Payne on PS4, although it is a great game. I did play. I used to have. I think I still have both of them for Xbox. Well, the Xbox versions for 360, both Max Payne 1 and 2. Max Payne 3, I did play a little bit, but I didn't really enjoy it, so I didn't finish it. I didn't have as much fun with it. I didn't feel like it was I don't know. Somewhere I didn't have as much fun as like the originals with Max Payne 3. But Remedy, I did watch, the makers of Max Payne and a lot of other games. They did. I did see a video that they just, I think, put out this morning or this week with their efforts right now. The Alan Wake 2 game, which I just recently, I was even talking about on the show, playing Alan Wake, that they are working feverishly at Alan Wake 2, and they wanted to have some sort of demo or something out over the summer, but they didn't want to take people off of working on the finished product to make a demo because they wanted everybody's efforts concentrated on just making the Alan Wake 2 game as good as possible. But apparently they are in talks with AMC to make an Alan Wake television series, which could be interesting. I mean, this could be a good suspense series on the vein of something like, I never really watched Twin Peaks, but from what I've heard, it would be similar to that, where it's just weird mystery, creepy things are actually going on amidst things. Because that's
Twin Peaks was kind of ahead of its time. I watched a little bit of it, but not when it was on so much. I watched a couple, I think one, maybe two, and then later on, my sister had me borrow it when they were on video. Back when there was video, and,
VHS.
VHS, yeah,
because video technically still exists, but a video cassette.
I had borrowed them all, and then watched the film when she had that back in the day, where they could basically finish it up,
and wrap it up.
That's what they did back then.
Yeah.
Good actors, though. That's
There we go. I'm having Phil kind of adjust his mic just a little bit there, so I'm just muted. There we go. You can tell when I mute your mic for whatever reason because suddenly we lose the sound of the room.
Yeah, that's true.
But Phil was having some troubles there, but hopefully he's feeling better now. During when I was talking about Max Payne, it suddenly sounded so much better, I'm sure, without the room noise. But yeah, we're getting his microphone aimed a little bit better for him. Anyways. You get a little bit of behind-the-scenes stuff that I don't edit out all the time because I like to let you know all the effort we put into making this show just for you. So, but okay, now I was talking to you about this in the car. Oh, you got something you want to throw in before I jump into another game?
Well, not a game, actually. Something I forgot to mention about the shows we've been watching. I watched the new Firestarter.
Oh, the new movie?
Movie.
I heard it was terrible compared to... I only watched the original movie once, but this would be more of a movie review, not a television review.
But I watched... It's on, what do you call it?
Yeah, they put it out on Paramount Plus.
No, not Paramount Plus.
Or, wasn't it Paramount Plus? No, I guess HBO Max. Who has it?
The Peacock.
Peacock. Have I opened it? Because I remember seeing the thing for it, but I didn't think it was Peacock.
I watched the original one and the other one. And the original one, I got to say, some of the acting is horrible on the original. I didn't realize it. Drew Barrymore and all that. No offense, Drew. But
she was a little kid, though.
Well, she was. But the new little kid doesn't do bad at all.
Yeah.
But they also made it more like the book, from what I understand.
Oh, and so I'm not a Stephen King fan, so I was like,
me neither.
Really
so I almost didn't watch it, but I did watch it. And I got to say, the new film is a lot more serious. And I like the old one, but the new one has its good points, too. And the acting in it is really good. And if you're wanting to watch something that's unique, almost X-Men-like, but because that's what it had, a lot of that kind of thing, people with these superpowers and all. They did a good job with that. And the special effects, of course, are better because, obviously, they can make it more serious.
You can do a lot more with it.
So it's nice that they could do it more like the book because they couldn't do that then in the 1980s. Was it 4 or 2?
I don't know. I don't remember. Like I said, I only remember watching it once. And
I will say the actor they got even though they cut his role back a lot because in reality, apparently, when they made the original movie, they apparently put 2 roles together from the book. So, but in this, they got the actor who plays the dad on that 70s show to kind of take George C. Scott's role type of thing. And I was like, he does do a good job talking like him. So
talking like George C. Scott,
pretty much. But I tell you, there's good and bad about both, to be honest. But still, they did do a good job at really capturing the special effects and everything. When that little girl is getting mad, you can see the heat coming up before the fire starts up. And I thought, that would be a unique and yet terrifying thing for your family member to have. Because I can only imagine if you irritate a little child, because they get mad. And
they get mad. They don't have self-control.
That's it. And there's a lot of that going on. Because a little girl wants more ice cream.
Oh, no.
She doesn't get it, and the mom says no, and she accidentally sets her mom's arms on fire because she's angry.
Oh, my goodness.
And so, it's a terrifying thought. In a sense. A little baby get mad and because her diaper is dirty or whatever. Suddenly, the whole room starts catching on fire because she's frustrated that they don't know how to control her. It's scary in a way, but it's not bad. Watch it; it's pretty good.
I'm not interested at all, though. I'm not a Stephen King fan, really. So, but that should have been in the movie review section.
Yeah,
but while we're talking about stuff we're watching, actually, I should throw in there that after watching an episode of Toy Galaxy, if you've watched that on YouTube. You've watched him before.
I have seen, yeah, I've seen it.
But he did a thing covering you can't do that on television.
Oh,
and
yeah.
While talking about it, he mentioned that Paramount Plus, because they own Nickelodeon, has about a season's worth, about 20 episodes available of that to watch. So I actually have watched a few episodes of that this week.
What? Uh-oh, here comes the...
Yeah. Well, no, it's not what. It would be... I'm not going to say it because slime may fall on me.
I don't know.
There it is. Oh, no, Phil. Oh. Well, you know how we can clean you off? You know what word to say to get cleaned off, right?
I don't remember.
You know what I had in this cup?
Water?
Oh, there's the water on your head. Oh, no, I said it. Oh, okay. I should have sound effects for like water falling on our heads. There we go. But yeah, if you would say, I don't know, you get slime, just say water or wet, and they dump water on your head. So
good old shows from our childhood.
And that's what made slime famous on Nickelodeon was that show.
That's right.
Yep. So it's been kind of fun to watch that, and you know the humor is definitely aimed at younger. But you know it was kind of savvy at some things that were going on because this is even in Canada they were having problems. As well as here in the States with because it was being made in Canada, but they're having the fuel shortages that was going on towards the end of the Carter administration. That is one of the reasons why Carter only lasted 4 years and Reagan came in there and began his presidency in '82. But I was actually just watching ones where they were talking about they were having problems with inflation and also the transportation issue and nobody could get any gas. So they were really relevant for the time that they were making the show, but coming at it from a kid's point of view. Ready, aim, stop the execution.
Some things come back in time again.
Oh yeah, it was very relevant for today. Yes, indeed. It was. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, the next thing I had on Host Chatter is stuff that I'm actually going to get into as part of our news segment. So I'm going to hit this button.
Spanning the Disney and geek universe to bring you the best in comics, toys, movies, and entertainment. This is news from around Neverland.
All right, I'm going to start this off with something just positive, make you feel good. This comes from ABC 10 in Texas. And let me just read you this headline. Family of 3-year-old cancer patient wears superhero costumes to every chemo.
Oh, wonderful. I love it.
And a quote from the mother, "We do it to make sure he feels the powers." And Mom will tell you. And there's this cute little picture where, oh my gosh, I just realized something about that. Okay, but you have both of their two children are dressed as Spider-Man. And so their dad is wearing a black suit Spider-Man and Mama is wearing a Spider-Gwen outfit. But where they've got this still frame, it looks like the little 3-year-old has his hand. He's just holding on to Mom, but he's got it holding... Mom from the wrong spot.
Well, that's okay.
But this is in Dallas. As Leon Hernandez was scared and his parents could see the fear on his face. Every visit to the hospital, he worried he'd feel an ouchie. And there were a lot of hospital visits. The 3-year-old Plano boy was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia in 2021. Leukemia is the most common childhood cancer and is quite treatable. But the treatment is chemo, and that's what frightened Leon. So here's the... They bought all these different costumes so he could dress up as a superhero and the parents could go in with him. Here's a really cute photo of them as the Incredibles.
Wonderful.
And the little guy has lost all his hair, but Mom and Dad are there dressed as the Incredibles with him. Here they are dressed all as Superman and Superwoman. Just adorable. I just love this story. I mean, that's family coming together. And I got to mention it because they dress as superheroes.
That's great.
I mean, that's great. I love having a good positive story to start with.
Thing, when you have a loved one going through, for instance, I mentioned my the man who my father's best friend, who is just a great man. I call him my Uncle Russell.
Yep.
His wife, my Aunt Mary, she's going through cancer and has lost all of her hair. And you know what he's done? He shaved his head. That's right. Yeah. He goes along with it because he said because she said it's going to embarrass her. He said no. He goes if you're embarrassed, I'm embarrassed. He goes, and I'm not together. And he said I'm not embarrassed by it because you're beautiful as ever.
Yeah.
That's just loving, man.
Yeah. Well, they're adorable together anyway.
Oh, they're wonderful.
They're like the definition of cute older couple.
Oh, they're wonderful. I've known them for so long. I've known them my whole life. They came and saw me when I was born in the hospital. I was, I'm just very, very happy about it. I love him.
When you were born, old Uncle Russell was there to slap you in the back.
Yeah, that's right. I was the first in my family. I was the first one he got to come see in the hospital. So he was part of the family.
Yes, indeedy.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I do have a couple of game releases that I do want to mention. One of them you were pretty excited about. There was a Call of Duty thing we were hearing about that was Operation Monarch, and it was like the King Kong versus Godzilla. Well,
the Monarch Butterfly, the big
Operation. Well, the Monarch is the group in the newer films which might have been pulled from the Japanese. I don't remember. Maybe. I don't remember. Your cousin John would probably know for sure. But what it turns out this is, for anyone who plays the free to play, because it's one of those battle royale games, whether it's Call of Duty Warfare. Is that? Yeah, I think it's just called Warfare. Yeah. It's free to play, and this Operation Monarch is part of that, and it is going now. Now, they do these kind of in season, so I don't know how long they're doing this, but your opportunity is now. Maybe I should download it. Excuse me. And we'll play with that today.
I definitely want to try that.
Yeah, because I know, plus you love playing those Call of Duty games anyway.
I adore that, and I love Call of Duty, and I love Godzilla and King
Godzilla
Kong.
versus King Kong. And I've heard they're doing another King Kong versus Godzilla movie. I've heard it's working. Other new games that have just come out is that, and I think we mentioned this before, that there is an Evil Dead game. It's not what I thought it was going to be. I was kind of surprised. I've been watching some gaming channels getting to play it. It released this week, and it's very. They've actually named this genre of game, but the only thing I can compare it to, it'd be like that Friday the 13th game that came out a few years ago, where it is. You've got a monster, and someone can play as the monster person, and other people can be survivors and kind of work together. So what this is one person gets to play as some sort of, I forgot what they call it, but it's a head demon, and he can summon the Deadites and pop them up anywhere on the map, while the rest of you are playing as, and there's different classes. So there's Evil Dead 2 Ash, there's Evil Dead 3 Ash, and stuff like that, but there's different versions of Ash, and then you've got some of the side characters from the Evil Dead franchise. Even like that Knight character is a playable guy.
I just want to have my boomstick. That's all I need to have.
Well, you have to go and find you a boomstick. You start out without any weapons.
Yeah.
So you got to go find your chainsaw, go find you a boomstick. You can get axes and all this stuff. But you go and you're trying to go with at least this version, the online version, you're going and trying to find pieces of a map that will lead you to where the Necronomicon is, and a dagger that can destroy the Necronomicon, and you're trying to do all this.
You gotta shop smart. Shop
smart. That's right. But that's from what I've watched, and they were playing against an AI who's being the bad guy. There was at certain areas there was just a constant barrage of Deadites, and they just couldn't accomplish anything. And I have seen there's another mode where you can solo and you can have missions. And this was cool because so the missions are done kind of like in order. But they really completely recreated the cabin.
Oh, yeah.
And you're playing as Evil Dead 2 version of Ash, and the cabin is there. I mean, with the deer on the side, and the little basement thing is
That's awesome.
when chaining and trying to break out. But you have to go outside and go fetch items and not get killed by Deadites.
The third film, which is my favorite, Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
That's Evil Ash is the villain.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's an Evil Ash that you can have.
I imagine he's all messed up face.
Yes.
And you're good, Ash. I'm evil, Ash.
Good, bad. I'm the one with the gun.
That's right. I love it.
Yes.
That's outstanding.
Yes.
And
but
I love that he's in the, talking about Bruce.
Yeah.
I love that he's in that film.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that here in a bit, too. The one thing that I would say, based upon what I'm watching, is the difficulty level is a little extreme and in favor of the bad guys. But, really, that Friday the 13th game, everything is in Jason's favor.
Well, it would be, though.
But it would be, yeah. But I was just like, when you're going to play it like this, I would like to feel like, especially when you're able to fight back, I would like you to have a little bit more chance of actually succeeding in your goal.
Maybe the boomstick and the chainsaw will give you a little bit of a...
I watched somebody with boomsticks and chainsaws, and the chainsaw actually slowed down the attacks, but it took a lot less attacks to kill a Deadite with a chainsaw than it did an axe. Or machete, and the blood flies everywhere. I can tell you that. But of course, that's what you need to expect for this. But it looked like it might be fun to play, but it also could be very, very frustrating. And I'm kind of curious, like how much it's selling for, like digitally. I might get it. If I was going to be playing more online, because I'd want to play with my friends, I think on something like that. But that has released. Something else coming up in the world of toys. I've got this off GhostbustersNews.com, which I recommend y'all. He's got a great YouTube channel, and also his website has all kinds of stuff. But original Slimer designer calls a fan-made Ghostbusters toy the best he's ever seen. Available soon. So I'm looking at this picture, and it is amazing. It looks like first movie style Slimer, but yet has almost goofy looking teeth, kind of more akin to the cartoon. And let me just grab a thing here. It's Baducci Studios on his Twitter thing. He shows some basically, I guess it looks like what he's done is tried to make a 3D model. That way he could 3D print the thing. But I'm wondering what the talk is about this actually is going to be produced somehow. The floating slime ball comes from our friends Tony Taylor Toys and Baducci Studios. As seen, the upcoming toy retains all of Slimer's disgusting details from his unsightly fat rolls, large brow, crooked teeth, multiple boils, and massive derriere. Because when you look at this, he's got a butt. And I hadn't realized that he had a butt in the movie, too.
Yeah, he did. And the sad thing is he's based off John Belushi.
Yeah. But the Slimer design is so good that it caught the attention of special effects designer Steve Johnson, the original designer and sculptor behind the character. In classic Steve Johnson fashion, he shared his excitement in a rather explicit comment. I won't read what he said because it is explicit, but he basically does say it's the best he's ever seen. Now, I'm sure if you were going to purchase this, because apparently it will be out and available for purchase at some point, I'm sure it's going to be expensive, but I do not see where it's going to be released. But apparently it's going to be coming out with TonyTaylorToys.com from Baducci Studios. So yeah, that's something to look forward to if you have the money to be able to collect a really, really realistic Slimer. Wow. Something else, and I think I can probably play the video, but I actually probably shouldn't play the video. Now that I think about it, because it has some copyright music, and even though it's used in an ad. But the best way to announce that you're going to do a Muppets minifig from Lego is to recreate the opening of the Muppet Show with your minifig Legos. So I can't really play that video, but these are out in stores now. The problem is that they're in blind bags. So now that's exciting and partially exciting to me, but that's exciting for a lot of people. I get tired of blind bags. You
it's hard to collect if you don't know what you're
it's hard to collect because and there were some toy stores that would when they had the blind bags of the those miniature Masters of the Universe figures. I forgot there was a specific company that made those, but there was a toy store somewhere in Kansas that had that. They just we've already unwrapped. Tell us which one you want, and you can just pay same price. And we'll ship you one. And that's how I was able to finally get myself a He-Man figure of that. Yeah. And I even got a special He-Man figure where it had done like the shiny chrome looking kind of paint for his harness thing. But I'm sure at some point some store will be able to have where you can just order the specific minifig you want. Although part of me is tempted to go and get it, but I'd end up spending a lot because I might be wanting specific characters that I would be trying to hunt down, and I would have to buy, and I'd probably get a lot of duplicates, and so it'd be really difficult to get exactly the ones that I would want, because I would want to get Heather a Bunsen and Beaker, and then I have to have my main three: Kermit, Fozzie, and Gonzo, my favorites. And then once I had those, I would be officially done. But I would probably have all kinds of other Muppets that I end up getting because I'm blind bagging it. So I actually do not like the concept of blind bags. For some people that's fun. For me it's frustrating because I have specific ones I want. Granted, it'd be fun to have all the Muppets, but I'm like, it makes it harder to collect. And back when I was younger, I probably wouldn't complain because we used to collect trading cards all the time, and you never knew what you were going to get.
But it's also a lot cheaper too.
Yeah, they were. It's indeedy. You'd get 10 cards in a pack anyway. Yeah. And on minifig, you're going to get one little figure. Yeah. And you're like, dang it, I already had this one.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not cheap. It's like, $5?
I haven't seen them in stores to know how much. But yeah, Legos don't come cheap. Well, now, sometimes they're little minifig things. So I have bought, but they weren't blind bag either. Mm-hmm. But I have bought some individual minifigs that, you can get for like $1.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah. So, but I don't know how much they're charging for the actual minifigs. I haven't looked in stores, but I have seen people online posting pictures like, "Hey, look, I got some," and they're pretty excited about it. But are we ready to talk about some comics and some stuff of because every summer both DC and Marvel have to pretty much wreck their universe.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Oh, CBR is not going to let me pull it up here on my laptop because I have an ad blocker. Which I had it on the other thing, but they're all right. Well, let's just talk about the Justice League, and I guess this was a thing. It's called the Dark Crisis, and I guess as of end of April, the Justice League is dead, and it seems like they're doing this as a way they're going to start replacing. I mean, I don't know who all's being replaced, but we've already got a different Batman. We have a black man who's a Batman, and we have a Jonathan Kent who is the bisexual Superman, and so it seems like they were already kind of gearing up to replace all the mainstream Justice League characters and to have some sort of minority take the place. And they've been, of course, virtual signaling wokeness with this whole thing. And they've already been getting backlash. People are like, we don't want you to replace Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent and all the other ones. We don't want you to replace those. Tough, they're doing it. But if their sales falter from this, then they're going to have to backpedal really fast, which they probably are planning to bring back everybody, because a lot of times with these summer events, they'll wreck things so bad that they realize they have to bring things back that they've destroyed. And we also know, and it's another CBR article, so I won't be able to pull it up. Comic book resources, by the way, cbr.com. Marvel celebrating the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man with, it's going to be even issue 1000.
That's pretty cool.
And they're gearing up to do some stuff there where they're going to have some cover art with John Romita Jr. I think he's probably going to be drawing the issue as well. But some of the stuff, and I've mentioned this before, I now actually, with Free Comic Book Day, I did pick up a free one from Marvel. It was Eternals, X-Men, and the Avengers Judgment Day, and that's part of their big event. So for anyone who's not following up on this, and I haven't paid attention to the X-Men in a long time, but there's a mutant called Krakoa, who's a mutant island. All of the mutants have decided, forget even Xavier's dream, we're just going to start our own country. So while they're there, Krakoa is growing all these different plants that have actually made some new medicines that are actually really good medicines, and they've been selling them to the rest of the world. Which would be fine. Now, what's going on here is the Eternals. They're supposed to go and kill variants, and they have declared that the mutants are a type of variant, and the mutants are now becoming superior. Like Magneto always said, well, we're superior to the regular humans, and but I as much as I would miss like the classic X-Men, like in the 90s, and like Xavier's dream that we want to live peaceable with the humans, I understand what they're trying to do, because it doesn't make a lot of sense that you have all these superpowered people in their universe, but the mutants are the different ones. But you can do this in a way. I thought if the mutants have a hard time controlling their powers, that would make them interesting if you bring them into the MCU. But this, I guess, makes them a way like, oh, look, they're showing themselves to be superior. So now you've got a different way of presenting the mutants to where you can have some of that. But apparently what's going to happen over the summer is the Eternals are saying, okay, we need to wipe these out. The Avengers are stuck in the middle between like the X-Men and the Eternals in this big war. And what's about to happen is a Hellfire Gala, which, because the White Queen is now part of the X-Men and she still is head of the Hellfire Club, I guess, they're having their gala on Krakoa. And Mary Jane, since she's been working with Tony Stark, and she's been a big advocate because her Aunt Anna has Alzheimer's, and some of the medicine that's coming from Krakoa is helping her Alzheimer's. And this number 0 Judgment Day is the issue that I was talking about, that I've been warned about, and I've shown it to Philip now, this last page, where after Mary Jane comes from being on television and talks about the Hellfire Gala that she's going to in name of Tony Stark as part of her job working for him. She takes Aunt Anna to her house, and as she's downstairs, she hears a noise, somebody in there, and the Moira McTaggart is now a cyborg for, I don't know how that happened, and snatches her up and says, well, I need to go to that gala, and guess who I'm wearing? Go ahead, ask me. I'm wearing you. And so it looks like I don't know how they're going to get out of it, because unless somebody's about to show up and save Mary Jane from this, Mary Jane's about to get skinned alive. And that's probably, that's you're breaking things already right there. That's probably not a good idea, but it's already something weird, because I haven't read it yet, because I want to go back and collect all the Nick Spencer run of Amazing Spider-Man, because I really enjoyed his writing. But I did pick up the Amazing Spider-Man #1, but it's like volume billion, whatever they're now. It's probably only volume 4, but for crying out loud, every time they want to do something different, they have to reset Spider-Man now here lately. Although they try to keep a legacy number as well as a new #1. But I did pick that up. I haven't read it, but I did look over like the pages they're talking about where Peter's kind of spying on Mary Jane and seeing her with this other guy, Paul, which seems to be maybe a husband, and she has these 2 kids. So what the heck is they doing in that, and how does that relate into her being about to be skinned? But like, yeah, they're already set to wreck things. They're and I'm like, I part of me is curious where they're going with this in Amazing Spider-Man, but it's also, how are you going to develop that weird story when you're also about to skin her alive? Is she somehow going to survive without her skin? I don't know what they're doing with this. So I'm half curious where they're going with this, but I'm also like, I just get frustrated now when every summer they want to just wreck everything and then they have to somehow or another put it back. Maybe it's just because of my age, but I hate it when they just wreck everything. I mean, making some little small kind of things are kind of interesting, like when they did The Other, and suddenly Peter realized he can have organic webs, and he can also, like a spider, can stick stuff on their back. He realized if, when rescuing somebody, that comes in handy. I can, like, carry somebody out of a fire. I can stick them to my back and carry them out, and I have my hands free. That was pretty cool, actually, some stuff. They made some just little changes and, stuff like that. And you should have a few life changes. That's just good storytelling. But there's a difference between making some little kind of changes and like, oh, that's an interesting take on things, and doing something that just wrecks what you've built. And I'm not. And some people, I know some writers would say, "But it's necessary." But I'm like, no, I just don't like it. I don't like change that one.
It's kind of like I said before. It's kind of why I've grown out of a lot of it. I just get tired of it, and I enjoy comics from time to time.
Yeah,
but I don't get deep in it anymore, and I'm kind of in agreement with a lot of these people. That's why I just watch the shows. Yeah, I know. I like both, but in truth, if it weren't for the comics, you wouldn't have the shows.
Right, but I want to be able to enjoy both.
But if it weren't for the shows, the comics probably would at some point die out.
Yeah.
Because one reason why people get into the comics nowadays or love them nowadays,
because they see the character in the movie and they're like, get interested.
So that's, and quite honestly, look, I'm not trying to make an excuse, but I can't read as well as I used to because of the stuff I go through.
Yeah.
So, thank goodness for the pictures and all, but I'm not saying that's all I look at. But that's what keeps me interested, because the stories they have nowadays, quite frankly, are boring because it's the same old, same old. Okay, so first of all, I get tired of the political stuff they put in there. Things to not
agendas are seeping in.
And also, look, I know it's got to be difficult to write new stories, but after a while, it's like, this time we have Krakoa, and the last time we had Apocalypse, and after a while, you're like, does it always have to be something's taking over the world and destroying the world? Can't there be something unique and different? Oh, yeah, well, this time it's an island. Last time it was a planet. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, they've even had another podcast I listened to, the Real Brian Show, with Real Brian. He's been on the show before. One of the things he got tired with the MCU. He gets kind of worn out with everything is world threatening. Can't we just have something? It's like, remember the movies where just maybe the city is threatened. And I think it was nice with some of the Spider-Man films. We did have, like, at least in the first one, even though I'm not a fan of Homecoming, it was something that it was a minor threat thing, but it was him with the villain. But it wasn't. We didn't have to threaten the entire world. We could maybe have he's friendly neighborhood, because when we have a good Batman story, like this even recent movie, The Batman, was the entire world threatened? No, but he's still saving Gotham. And you can have just one city saving, and because it gets boring. Oh, look, the world's in danger again, and it reminds me of that line from The Incredibles, like, you get through saving the world, and suddenly it's in jeopardy again. And I feel like the maid. I just cleaned up in here. Can we keep it clean for just 5 minutes? It's like that. We're saving the world now.
One of the things I like about the old Spider-Man stories, not just Spider-Man, a few others, I like when it's very personal.
Yeah.
Where there's a villain coming after you.
Because they hate you.
They hate you.
And they were a friend. I like that's what makes Magneto so interesting, is him being a friend.
He is his friend, and that's the thing. They're not really enemies as much as they're frenemies.
Yeah.
Where one minute they're working together, then they're not. Because you kind of understand Magneto's way. He's not 100% wrong. He's wrong in his way he's doing it.
Right, yeah.
But it's like, that's why Xavier and him, they fight and they get along. I guess you could say they're kind of like exes. They love hate. They hate love.
Because occasionally Magneto says, all right, I'm going to try things your way a little bit.
Yeah. Because they were friends.
Yeah.
And it's just that their style is different.
Yeah.
One hates the regular people.
Yeah, one is basically like, you know what? We are superior to these humans. Why are you trying to coddle to them? We should... just wipe them out. And
well, I think we all have friends this way.
I feel like this is definitely doing Magneto's way with this Krakoa thing, because, like, especially, one of the weird things about this, somehow Krakoa, they don't have to fear death, because if they die, they have things in place where they'll just be resurrected in this little egg and pop right back out.
I think we all have friends this way, though.
Weird.
Whether it be in a political sense or even in depending on what you believe. Even when you share beliefs, maybe there's something you do differently than that.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it be in your church, but you may pray a different way. Or maybe it's that if you go to a store, but you're on a different diet than me. Oh, but wait, you work out differently. Oh, you're on leg day? I'm not on leg day. I'm
on arm day.
I'm on arm day, or whatever it is. Oh, but wait a minute. You don't believe in leg day, arm day. You do. See, everyone has a different way of thinking. And so that's why I think that relationship between Magneto and Xavier is understandable.
Yeah.
No, we need to destroy those people because they don't agree that we agree.
Yeah.
And like he's like, no. Let's work with them, not against them.
Let's show them that we can, because we have powers, we can help them. And that's I like that astonishing X-Men thing where they got like new costumes and everything, and Cyclops is like, we're going to go out and astonish them. We're going to go stop some actual crime and save some people.
Yeah.
It's like that's how you show like, no, wait, us having powers is great. We can actually do some things. We can help because we're all humans.
Yeah, we're together.
And that's the thing. Speaking of like having that greatly personal villain type of thing, that's one of the things that makes that Spider-Man Marvel game, which I'm waiting for that sequel. I want to play Miles Morales too. But having spending so much time in that game where Peter is working for Dr. Otto Octavius, and they're excited about making the stuff that eventually is going to become Dr. Octopus's arms.
Yeah.
You have such that dramatic thing, especially when you find out that Octavius knew the whole time, had figured out who Spider-Man was. And that the end, you haven't gotten to play all this yet, man. But the ending bit of the battle, there's tears in their eyes that Peter has is like, you tell him, I looked up to you, you were my hero, and look what you've done.
And supposed to bring the world together, not bring it apart.
Yeah. The scene when he's finally defeated Doc Ock and he's disabled the arms and stuff like that, and when he's just tears running out Peter's face, he's like, you were my hero, you were going to change the world, not destroy it.
That sounds like the scene from Obi-Wan and
it said you would save the Jedi, not join them, or destroy the Sith, not join them. But that's what made that movie kind of better than some of the other ones, is the Obi-Wan and Anakin fight. It is tragedy. And
that's what I thought made Smallville so good, was that when you're watching Lex and Clark, because when you start seeing it go, that's what I remember. My dad, I had him watching it, and until season 5 at least, it was really great. And at the end of that season, I remember my dad saying, "I actually like Lex. I never thought I would." He said, "He said I actually like this show." He said, "And Lex," he goes, "I don't want Lex to be bad." I said, "That's what's heartbreaking."
Yeah,
you see it slow but sure.
Especially in that first season, they have the woman who's kind of could see the future when she touched her hands, and she was seeing all the raining blood and all the stuff and all the stuff that he was doing.
And she died when she was done. That was,
she had a heart attack right there, and seeing what he would become.
Such great actors in that show.
Yeah,
but I like when they got so much in common, yet there's just a couple little things that separate them, and then them in the future. I'm not just talking about that show, but I like that when. It makes it so much more realistic, because I've had frenemies, so to speak, like that, where we were real close, but one or two little strands happened in which were just apart. And, we may agree on some things, but I try to be peaceful. They don't.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, and Phil's mouthing stuff to me.
I don't want to say it out loud.
Yeah, true. You can go ahead. That's fine. I can't read lips, so I have no idea what you said. But anyways, one of the things that also makes Spider-Man villains, I mean, when you consider one of his greatest enemies, the Green Goblin, is his best friend's father.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Now, and he doesn't have a personal connection to everybody, but when you consider Venom and Eddie Brock, when he was an enemy, I mean, you had somebody he had known from work that he'd had problems with, but then suddenly he gets merged with a symbiote that was angry at Peter. So at the time, it's completely kind of different now in the comics, but that personal connection that most of his villains have, either because this was a friend of mine, and now they're oh my gosh, now this guy's turned into the Molten Man. Oh no, having that person, but not every villain has to have a personal connection, but sometimes, like Batman has a personal connection with the Joker when you go into it, in the fact that the Joker is kind of obsessed with him.
Yeah, because he's trying to make it happen.
Yeah, and he's like, but we're best frenemies. Yeah. When you have that kind of maniac on there, it makes it personal.
We're together. That is scary.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
And I hope we get to that level, because I love it. One of the things that's great about The Dark Knight is at the end, when he's finally really caught the Joker, like the second time, and he's dangling him, and the Joker's just like, I feel like we're just destined to keep doing this again and again. I was like, that's the Joker.
I've said this a million times, but man, I hate that he passed. First of all, because I never wanted him to die, but
right,
obviously. But the other thing is man, I would have loved to see where they were going to go with it. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the film with Bane, but not
if they could have done even more.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Joker and Two-Face and others and more and Scarecrow, all of those people.
Yeah,
I would have loved to see more of it.
Well, maybe this roundabout, because we're gonna we're gonna see the Joker some more.
Oh yeah,
but I would love to see them really work on that weird twisted relationship of what, because Joker has this whole thing in his head.
Not to sound cruel, but I don't want the way they did the Joker on that scene that was cut. I didn't care.
Yeah, that cut scene. The dialogue wasn't bad.
No, the dialogue wasn't bad.
It's just the way he looked it wouldn't look right.
But that's just me. That's my own personal.
Yeah, I get a different actor, but like the dialogue was good, but the actor's not quite my favorite.
No, me neither.
But I'd love to have that weird Joker who just it's part of the game we play. I kill people, you try to stop me, and then great,
Yeah, that kind of goofiness. It fits.
Yeah. I want to see that in the movie. We get to play out some more. So that's one thing. If they could have gotten that far with, they did find a way to try to make a personal connection between Jack Nicholson's Joker and the Michael Keaton Batman.
Oh,
they did. They invented and changed some history.
That they changed the ending of it because he wasn't supposed to die originally.
Yeah, if they could have gone further with that.
But unfortunately, they had that writer's strike, and that's what happened because originally Kim Basinger's character was supposed to die, Vicky Vale.
That wouldn't have went over well, though, to kill her.
They were going to kill her, and then the Dark Knight would have been darker. And it would have gone into a further story. That was the original writing was supposed to be. But the writer's strike happened. And that's why they say that what happened was Jack Nicholson was saying, why am I going up in these stairs over and over again? Because originally that wasn't how it was going to end. There was going to be a lot different. But,
Yeah, it's a good thing at least that they didn't kill Vicky Vale, because that, I think, would have upset a lot of people.
Yeah, but it would have made Batman a little
they would have, but yeah, I don't think it would have been the fun summer movie that it is.
Yeah,
if they'd have killed her. So if they could have found a way the Joker not have died, though, so they could have him somewhere or another around and get into that little bit of where he's like, oh, this is my new personal best frenemy, the Batman.
Yeah.
Because could you imagine Jack Nicholson, how he could have played something like that?
Oh, him and the Penguin. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, and if they would have done something different with the Penguin, then I mean, Danny DeVito was like perfect casting for it, but yeah, they could have done different with that.
Joe Pesci would have been another one. Okay.
Joe Pesci, because Joe Pesci could have played him as that gangster mobster style.
Okay.
Even.
Okay.
Although I got to say, Colin Farrell just knocked. I loved his Penguin. He knocked it out of the park. Of course, I love Colin Farrell. I mean,
he's a great actor.
I didn't realize how great he was, because Daredevil didn't show how great of an actor he was. I think I don't really realized just how great he was until that Saving Mr. Banks.
Yeah,
he was so good in that.
He's a good actor. I've seen him in several things. And
I think there's some other stuff I'd seen him in that I was like, wow, that guy's a better actor than I gave him credit for.
Well, yeah, because to be honest, they don't usually give him a chance to be something different than he's usually just a cursing mad idiot. And I don't mean that he's an idiot, but I just mean
that's the character he gets. Yeah,
he's usually the same type, but in this case, he really got to go all for it. And boy, I think he had a blast.
Yeah, heck, getting to lose yourself in a character with all that makeup, man.
Oh, man.
Woo.
It helps.
But we need to get the show moving, and so the next thing on our agenda is the trailer park.
Mama, another gator got in the house.
Another gator? Give me that shovel. Come here.
Get him, Mama. Get that gator.
The Neverland Trailer Park.
This suit means something. It's not just protecting your body, it's protecting the universe.
Ready, Captain Lightyear?
Ready as I'll ever be.
To infinity?
And...
we got a breach in the perimeter.
Thank you. Let's get everyone home.
Come on!
You need my help?
Negative.
Are you sure?
I'm Buzz Lightyear. I'm always sure.
Oh, no. Buzz Lightyear mission log. My mistake has marooned us on this strange planet. I need to make it right.
Hello, Buzz. I am Socks. My mission is to help you, and I'm not giving up on my mission.
I'm not giving up either.
Great. Would you like a frosted snack cake to celebrate?
Negative. Buzz Lightyear mission log. I plan to finally finish the mission.
Who are you talking to, Buzz?
No one.
Here we go.
Are we going to crash?
No. Well, technically, yes.
That was utterly terrifying, and I regret having joined you.
What is going on?
Down!
The robots. The what?
I hope you're ready for action, because all we needed was a pilot.
For what?
Have to destroy the alien ship. I have a plan, and I have a team.
Do you have munitions training?
Partial.
So you're rookies.
Oh, boy. We'd love to be rookies.
To infinity.
Are you trying to get me to pull your finger?
Don't fall for it. Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop.
Let's go.
Did you hear that?
I don't hear anything. Oh, now I do.
You there, grab it!
It's the violation of my parole.
I think I need a bag. No, engage your helmet. That'll catch it.
Let's go finish the mission.
We're being pursued by just a massive robot. We can do anything!
Can you not shout in my ear?
Oh, yep.
Hey, what's that noise? Come on, don't break my cat.
He's purring. He likes it.
Socks, do you like that?
I do.
Huh.
Now, this wasn't necessarily a trailer. This was a special look at Lightyear, but I mean, it's basically a trailer, and it gives a little bit more of the story that's going on. And I'm getting more excited the more I see of this. So I just hope that I'm at the point on this Lightyear that please, I hope there's not something that you guys messed up and it's not as good as what it looks like. I'm almost terrified. What if they mess this up? Because to me, it's not quite the same without Tim Allen. But I gotta say, Chris Evans is doing a really good job of playing the character.
Well, he at least has that basic style.
Yeah.
He can do that very well with his voice. And
I wonder if he didn't work with Tim Allen a little bit to kind of get the character, down just a little bit.
He has that way of talking that's very similar to Buzz anyway.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to that. And it's summer 2022. I'm not exactly sure of the release date of that one. I bet if I'd have kept the page up, I could have looked at it. But anyways, why is this taking me to Facebook? Don't take me to Facebook. Take me to YouTube. Oh, wow. I think I'm going to have to track this one just a little bit. It's redirecting, going to a link outside of Facebook. That's right. Follow that link out to YouTube. I grabbed my links from the wrong place.
They're coming. Stay hidden, or we will not survive.
Leave us alone.
When the time comes, he must be trained.
Like you trained his father? You still want Kenobi. He's gone.
Maybe you've been looking in the wrong places. I want every lowlife and bounty hunter to squeeze him.
You can't run all we want! You can't escape him!
So obviously that was for the Obi-Wan series coming May 27th. Happy birthday to me. It's the day right after I turned 45.
2 years after 43.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But I have no idea what to expect really out of this. It seems to be the hunt for Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan, of course, being in hiding on Tatooine. I don't know how you do this, but I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking really forward to it.
Yeah.
Some people are all irked saying this is going to ruin the canon. I was like,
and they might. They've already stepped all over the canon a lot of times.
I'm like, just shut up and enjoy, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let's get a look at it before
don't step on it first.
Right.
Just enjoy what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about the canon, though. We don't really know anything that really happened, because what he said was, talking about the movie, he said, I haven't seen him since.
That's not the real issue, though. It's like a presence I have not felt since.
Yeah, since
and whatever. But it seems like it's been a long time. Where they're going to run into problems is if they end into a fight. When I left you, I was but the learner, and now I am the master. But of course, he does say, when I left you.
Yeah.
not when I last saw you.
Exactly.
So you might be able to get around that. But that's one of the things I think, well, they got to be careful. But if they find out that he's been hiding on Tatooine, it causes a lot of problems.
But
so,
will he be on Tatooine?
Well, yeah, that's the question. Will he be on Tatooine? Has he actually been going in there and trying to mount some sort of small rebellion on his own, hiding out? Because it shows him, firing off, a pistol. Like, if he doesn't pull that lightsaber, no one's really going to necessarily figure out who he is. But maybe he can do some things to make a difference. But although some of those shots, like when he's firing the shot, you get to see from the back. And the one shot where he turns around and faces, it doesn't look like Ewan McGregor either. So I'm almost wondering if he's got people who are trying to, like, throw off the scent. But they're trying to use, like, the name of Obi-Wan to help inspire a rebellion. Like, even the rebels don't even know where he is.
Not just that. Let's not forget there could also be dream sequences.
That too, because wouldn't Obi-Wan maybe have nightmares of what Anakin has become? Because he's going to know.
Yeah,
he's going to know, and that's part of the tragedy. This was his friend, his pupil,
his fault in a sense.
He failed.
Yeah,
he feels like it's his failure, and that line that Owen gives him there. Yeah. Oh, you mean like you trained his father?
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
But it helps to bring more of that understanding because Uncle Owen seemed like a jerk, but no, he's not. Maybe not such a jerk. He's terrified of what Luke could get turned in, and he's trying to protect Luke. He loves Luke. Yeah, he's protecting Luke because he doesn't want Luke to end up going into a dark side, not knowing that Luke actually had a destiny to defeat the dark side.
Exactly.
Well, until we have prequel, more sequels.
So saying he's trying really hard.
Yeah.
To keep him protected. I mean, that's we kind of get that even in the first film.
Yeah.
A New Hope, which by the way is still the first film.
Right.
It was the first film made.
Right. So
that's when people are like, oh, the first one technically. No, that was the first. It was, by the way, in case you weren't around, and I was, and Jeremy barely was.
Yeah. I was born the day exactly after.
Yeah.
And you were a baby, so you wouldn't.
Baby. But I remember
you weren't in the theater probably.
I remember seeing it when I was about 2, 1 or 2. I remember seeing it, I was 2 at the theater. But the point is that it wasn't called A New Hope.
It was Star Wars.
It was Star Wars. That was it.
Yeah.
There was no New Hope. It was it.
Not until like a re-release right before Empire Strikes Back. We're like, oh, by the way, we're making more of these, and we're going to. Here's the space opera that I intended this to be.
So it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible that I saw it as A New Hope when the one time I remember it, or it's possible that when I remember seeing it, it was still Star Wars. Who knows?
I remember not being such a great reader when I first saw it. I was still young. I'd seen it on HBO, so I couldn't read that opening crawl.
I couldn't read. I just knew that it said Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I don't remember anything
Star
else.
Wars,
except for I remember seeing the yellow stuff coming up. But But when I saw Return of the Jedi, of course, I just started learning how to read, but I couldn't read that much. So my brother, a lot of times, he hated it. My brother Matthew usually had to read me what Jabba the Hutt was saying.
Oh.
I was like, what's he saying? And my mom and dad go, tell him what he's saying. And Matt like, I don't want to.
He said, Tuwanawonga.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what he said.
He said he doesn't like him. I'm like, what else did he say? That's it.
Yeah. He's going to kill Han Solo. Okay.
He said you're fat and stupid. Whoa, Mom, he said, I said. No, I'm kidding.
All right, but let's keep moving.
All right, TV night with my bro.
Oh, you're going on a date with Lois? So disrespectful.
Oh, hey there, little fella.
Nah.
Wake up, buddy. It is walk o'clock.
I have an owner. He's Superman.
And I'm up.
Make him sing to this thing like a melody.
My dog's the best. But he's not the greatest with other animals.
This just seems gross.
What do you mean gross? Smelling stuff is one of the greatest joys of being a dog, next to licking any part of your body. And I lick myself all the time.
Well, that explains the breath.
Superman. I am Lulu, and you will kneel before me, you piece of...
Aw, aren't you a little ray of sunshine?
What's going on? You're invulnerable.
I should be a lot more dead right now, right? All of us have superpowers.
Still working out the kinks. I didn't see anything.
Are
you okay?
My best friend is in danger, and you have to help me.
You know what they say about dogs, don't you?
Never feed us chocolate.
We love unconditionally. We're just a bunch of shelter pets. But we're stronger than you think. We'll help you get your dumb owner back.
Ace, deploy canine shield.
What is a canine?
Excellent shielding. That seemed incredibly painful.
Why couldn't I have gotten a magic hammer or something?
What do I have here?
Squeezy Bruce!
Fetch! That better be a licensed toy or I will freak out.
July 29th. That is DC's League of Super Pets. When the Justice League apparently captured with having something to do with some sort of like naked gerbil or something. It looks like a hairless gerbil who uses kryptonite to kidnap Superman. And then some sort of weird crystal that falls amongst in the shelter pets there to give them all superpowers. It just looks so silly. I'm gonna have to go and laugh.
We'll see it. Yeah,
it's gonna be fun. It just looks like fun. Now, I'm not generally a fan of Kevin Hart necessarily, but you know he can be funny.
Yeah,
I'm swear he's got to be able to be funny somewhere. Some people find him funny, but I haven't seen him, do anything funny yet. But maybe as what I thought was going to end up being Bat Dog, because did you ever see the little cartoon they had for a while? They had a Bat Dog and they had Ace the Bat, and they had a cat that was basically a Flash. It was a cute little cartoon that they had.
Some of these things are based off actual comic books back in the day. They had Ace the Bat Hound back in the 50s, and they had all those animals. And the Streaky was from Supergirl.
Oh, okay.
She was. Those cats were actually from the comic books from back in the day.
From at least that cartoon, but this one they seem to have just done their own thing with.
Yeah, which is strange.
Super Pets,
because you could have done that.
They could have grabbed those other.
Now,
pets.
I'm not saying that. I know that they could have done, maybe made up some new ones, but they definitely had like Streaky and a few others. They could have.
And maybe because I thought Batman was going to have had a dog when he's in the park, and I was like, and I love the fact that the Bat doll, that's Squeaky toy, he calls him Squeaky Bruce. And doesn't be like, hey, that's Batman, and you're going to give it away, crypto. Not talking about currency here, by the way. We're talking about Crypto, the super dog.
Crypto, the super
dog. But I'm looking forward to that. It just looks silly fun. I think I'm just going to go and laugh and have a good time with that. So, all right. And also, is this? Whoops.
All right, TV.
Did I actually, no, I clicked the wrong one of my links here or something. I should have another trailer here. Here we go.
Hope you guys are ready for this.
Like a surgeon, cutting for the very first time. Like a surgeon.
Anyone got an accordion?
Like a surgeon. Hey, cutting for the very.
What can I say? I'm full of surprises.
I can hear your heartbeat.
So coming this fall onto the Roku channel of all things, Weird, the Al Yankovic story. Now this is just a teaser, but and they're saying, of course, it's based off the true story of Weird Al Yankovic. But from the look of the style that they're doing, I feel like Weird Al has made a weird satirical parody of his life story, or maybe a parody of biopics. So he's going to be a bit of truth, but also just being funny in his own fashion. Because we see at one point when this is weird, it's like we got Daniel Radcliffe and he's wearing a really weird curly-haired wig playing Al. It looks like Daniel Radcliffe in a bad wig. It really does. But we see it like in one scene, like he's snapping somebody with a hand towel, like he's in a kung fu fight or something, and it has vibes of UHF. In there, I think we're really just gonna have like a comedy thing, and it's I'm finding it interesting. It's gonna be like exclusive to the Roku channel because it seems like the Roku channel might be trying to establish themselves as a more of a mainstream streaming service. I don't know if I'm going to have to start paying for the Roku channel or if it's just going to be one of those things that's exclusive to those of us that actually own a Roku device. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. If I'm going to have ads while I watch it, I don't know. But that is coming. It's a Roku channel exclusive of all things. Who would have thought? But anyways, it is now time for the movie review.
Oh, want to see a movie?
Yeah. Any good?
It was bad?
I'm fuzzy on the whole good-bad thing.
My eyeballs could have been sucked from their sockets.
I like it a lot. The best movie ever made.
A Fandom Nexus movie review.
So last weekend was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and part of our festivities for Free Comic Book Day was to go and, of course, see that movie. Now, we walked in a couple minutes late. I think Philip's coming back to us here. Hopefully he's feeling fine here. He can give me a thumbs up when he's ready for me to turn his mic back on. Okay, goody, because I want to be able to talk to you on this. But we went to go see this. We missed like the first couple minutes. We were trying to find a seat while there was like the opening bit. Well, we kind of got the gist of the opening bit. But overall, I mean, this was a spectacle of sight and sound of, visiting different worlds and seeing like a completely destroyed world, getting to see a place where, I forgot the name of the other book that was the opposite of the Darkhold, like the Light something. But the book that pretty much only existed in one place for all universes, which was pretty wild because the Darkhold had like different versions of itself in other universes. But all the fun stuff that they could do with the multiverse, it's a visual delight. I mean, it's that popcorn fun, but yet I like how it still kept it kind of real and personal because we get to dive into, and I mentioned this earlier in the show, Stephen Strange had to give up something he wanted, which is the lesson we got with the old Spider-Man 2 with Sam Raimi. Conveniently, Sam Raimi directed this one. He had to give up Christine in order to. And plus, I like the fact that he gets to talk to her and says, "I'm sorry, I was really a jerk." Yeah. He's grown so much as a person since then. But in order to be who he is. And the protector from magical things and from the multiverse, he had to give up having any semblance of any sort of normal life, even though he's not the Sorcerer Supreme because Wong was there, which I love the reasoning for that. Like, well, I got blinked out for 5 years. What'd you think was going to happen? So I love that. Plus, Wong is such a great character anyway. No, I love giving him, that responsibility because I think he's better with the responsibility compared to Stephen Strange.
He's a real affable character.
Yeah, they've done a great job with Wong and having the guy playing him. Really, but
I don't remember the actor's name, but he's really
Benedict
likable.
Wong of all things.
Oh, isn't that funny?
His name's Benedict Wong. I'm like, of course he's playing Wong. So, but he does a great job because, and he's really good at communicating the gravitas and the weight. Or the gravity, not the gravitas. The gravity and weight of being the Sorcerer Supreme and the responsibility he has. He takes it very, very seriously. And the way, Stephen Strange, presents it, he takes it seriously, but he's also got that little bit of, maybe privileged kind of party guy that is somewhere in there. Like, I like the joke they even made in that last Spider-Man movie. It's just like, oh, well, when we had to forget about that party, whatever. And Wong's like, what party? He says, exactly.
Yeah.
So, he's still having some fun.
Yeah.
Which in the comics, he's got a good sense of humor and a sense of fun in the comics. So, it's nice to see them acknowledge that. But he's also got that level where he takes very seriously what he does. But I like the fact that Wong is even more serious because you kind of need that for someone who's going to be the one running the place and teaching all these new sorcerers and wizards, how to use the power to defend the Earth and defend this universe really from sources outside of it.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. Now I want to be careful of how much of the plot we really discuss, just in case there's some people who haven't seen it. But the villain is kind of an unexpected. You didn't expect it, but yet it made sense from what we've seen this person go through. Well, we're going to have to spoil just a hair when we get to some of the points that I want to be able to make. But I will say that you need to watch the WandaVision series if you haven't watched it. Make sure you watch the completion. And I will say, Agatha, what she's saying in that final episode, she's right. And there's one thing, kind of like that last Spider-Man movie, you could have changed and not had that entire movie had the, hey, can we make everybody forget that Mysterio said anything about my identity? Boom, done.
Yeah.
That fixes everything. In WandaVision, all it would take is for her memory of Vision to say, "Oh, by the way, I've reactivated the memories in my body. He's remembering who he is. So that's me. I'm alive. Come find me." If he'd have done that, this movie would never have happened. And I may have given away a little bit. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who maybe hasn't gotten out. But it's been a week. But maybe you haven't gotten out yet. But yeah, that one line would have changed this entire film. But you have a really great performance out of this particular actor getting to play into because there's a sympathetic side you understand, but also the horrible things this character does. It's selfish, yes, but yet you understand, and it's like it's tragic, but it's terrifying at the same time of what they're doing because. There's people that they kill that you're like, no,
and they just don't care.
And they don't care, and they're not sorry, which is something
for their own imagination.
Yeah. There's something they want, but don't realize that they could have if just one line had been added into the WandaVision final episode.
And the other,
and I've probably given away a lot there, but
the other thing that I like is there's certain things in this multiverse-y thing that I like that kind of gives you imaginations that it opens doors and things you always want to see.
Yeah.
And I won't go into all of it except to say that it makes you think, well, maybe we're going to get what we've been wanting for a long time, or at least, if nothing else, at least for this moment, we get to see things we wanted to see for a long time.
And you already know probably that there's an Illuminati scene. I'm not going to say specifically some characters that show up. One of them, but one character I thought, this is a character in the comics was part of this Illuminati group. But I didn't expect to see him. And even the actor, I felt like they had teased us for years that this was going to maybe happen, but saying, no, it's not. We'd like to, but no. Oh, yeah, but it happened, and there it is. And I look forward to seeing where that's going. And I'm not going to say which. Know what I'm talking about, who I'm talking about.
Well, there we are.
well, there it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was I don't know if I just heard it in my head, but seemed like there was some audible cheering, but maybe it was just me.
There was an audible cheering. Everybody heard it.
The unexpected, and then with the unexpected character. But there was a character we knew was coming, because they've teased enough, and we've heard his voice in the trailers.
Yeah.
But that was kind of exciting just because we heard in the scoring. But it's like the other character that had already been introduced that we did not know was going to be in this movie. I was like,
a couple of them.
Yeah.
There was a couple of other ones too that I was just like, ooh, because they had made some shows that didn't quite go the way they'd hoped. Talking about Marvel Universe, it didn't quite go the way they'd hoped, but they put that character in this as well, and I was.
So what if that character was yes, another certain character.
I was very thrilled.
How inhuman of me to forget about that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get through one episode of that series.
But they was able to put things together that we always wanted to see.
Yeah.
And I was very thrilled.
Oh, and letting him speak. Because when he speaks, it's powerful.
Right.
I'm just so touched by his words. So touched, I felt like the mountains could have crumbled with a whisper. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm such a nerd.
Yes, you
are. But yeah, overall, very enjoyable movie. But yeah, I could see where there's some bits that
very dark.
It didn't have. It is dark. It was Sam Raimi directed, but there's certain camera angles and certain camera movements that my brain was going, Raimi.
Very much.
It's very much his style.
I mean, I expected Ash to show up at certain times.
Well, he kind of did.
He kind of does.
I don't want to spoil some of the joke.
You got to know that Bruce Campbell's going to be
Bruce
there.
Campbell's going to pop up, and it is hilarious. I don't want to spoil the joke to say what all happened.
He's just so great, though.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell, I don't care what age he is. Bruce Campbell is he's so great. I love him.
And as soon as he popped over, like, you hear his voice before you see him, you're like, Bruce!
You love.
Yeah.
Basically, in my opinion, at least when it comes to Sam Raimi films, Bruce is the modern day Stan Lee. He can be. Maybe you could start using him instead of. That would be fun.
You know what would be fun though is finding that Ted was in there somewhere, Ted Raimi.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Because it seemed like he likes to put Ted into some stuff too. Because he had Ted in the back in the old Xena series.
Just like Ron Howard always used his brother,
right?
And he used his daddy too, and Mama always used those two in his films.
I don't recall.
Oh,
no, I didn't know what his parents.
You.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that his parents.
His dad. Now I don't know that his mom was ever in it, but his dad was in Andy Griffith a lot too. Back in the day, he would be on the set all the time. So
well, of course he'd be on set. Yeah,
of course, with his
overseeing his sons.
Yeah. So therefore, they would use him a lot. He'd a lot of times come as whether it be a guard for the mayor or whoever would show up. So he would a lot of times would show up on the set. So they also used him on the. In fact, I was just the other day watching Cocoon.
Oh yeah, I need to borrow this from you.
Yeah, and so the dad was on Cocoon, as was Ron Howard's brother.
Oh,
and so Clint Howard.
Yeah, Clint Howard.
And he showed up on a lot of shows. I bet you have no idea. You've probably seen him on
I don't know what his parents look like. So yeah.
Well, have you ever seen Apollo 13?
I saw it once, but I can't do this. There's so heavy drama and this stressful in that movie.
Of Tom Hanks on that movie
was Ron Howard's mama.
Ron Howard's mama. Yeah.
And I still say that my two favorite Clint Howard characters was Star Trek when he was a little kid.
Oh yeah,
and he was like that weird godlike thing. Mm-hmm. And then Mr. Slinky in Tango and Cash when he's in prison with Sylvester Stallone.
Did you ever watch Andy Griffith? The Andy Griffith Show. He was that little boy that would show up with the cowboy hat, eating the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all the time.
I think I remember him there.
That was the first thing he ever really did was back then. And
but still my favorite. It's his Star Trek appearance, because especially because it's so funny because they gave him, he's got a different voice.
Well,
he's like this big deep voice and this little kid. I love it so much.
They made a toy of that.
And then Mr. Slinky in there in prison with Sylvester Stallone and Tango and Cash. He was just so, because he's like trying to be all tough to Sylvester Stallone. It was so funny.
He's great.
Oh, he's such a funny guy.
Oh, he's a lovable dude.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I know.
He's been on Seinfeld even.
With this next Jurassic World movie, just for fun, because you got Bryce Dallas Howard in there. I want to see her daddy and her uncle make appearances. Even if you just have them come out and get eaten by something. I want to see a cameo with her daddy and her uncle. Come on, Bryce. I hope you made it happen. Come on, girl. You know what we were looking for. We're okay. Whatever. Sam Neill's back. Whatever. Lord Ernst. Whatever.
Hey, what are you talking about?
I want to see your daddy, Ron and Clint.
I am thrilled.
Well, you know how much fun that would be just to see the other Howards.
You said you want to see Clint Howard get eaten.
Ron and Clint could be sitting in the car arguing over getting lost somewhere. You drove us right into the territory of the T-Rex. I did not. Well, all right, fine, whatever. Them arguing in a car, then all of a sudden the roof gets ripped off. Munch. Something like that. I would be laughing. I'd be like, that's awesome. With the Howard brothers. Oh, that would be awesome, though. Come on.
They'd be inside the dinosaur. That's the new Howard's Inn.
Oh, God. That was one of those jokes that's so bad it's hilarious.
It's terrible.
Neither one of us have kids, but we still can make the dad jokes.
Bad dad jokes.
Hey, y'all, you paid to see it and the price was free.
That's right.
But yeah, so overall, yes, we did very much enjoy Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Madness, and I'm looking forward to showing it to Heather because she didn't come with us.
He was so good.
Oh my goodness. Man. He is to Doctor Strange what RDJ was to Tony Stark. And even Chris Evans as being Steve Rogers, they just mastered that character.
Yeah.
Oh, and even I got to give credit to no, not Ashley Olsen. Oh, Olsen. It was
Ashley Olsen, isn't it?
No, that's Mary Kate and Ashley are her big sisters.
This is
I forgot. But she was so good in this.
She's tremendous.
She was tremendous.
I hate that character in this.
Olsen. But Olsen, you were awesome.
Yeah, Olsen, you were awesome.
You were awesome. Yeah. I gotta say, you were very good in this character, and I'll leave it at that. I don't want to say any more, but she did a really tremendous job of playing this character. Well, she's been great as Wanda, really, except for what happens to the accent. How come it disappears and then sometimes comes back? But whatever.
Yeah.
But okay, I have some stories to tell you, Mr. Phil.
What's that, Freddy?
Alrighty. So with Disney's Haunted Mansion, there's been some artwork that I've seen, and I don't know if this was some early concept or I think it might have been part of. I think I actually have it on my computer. It might have been part of like a board game. But some of the original concepts for the bride there in the attic was that she was coming out of a chest. Like a chest opened up and she'd come out of it. Now
I've heard of that before, yeah.
Let me read you some of the stories of the Bram's Hill House Bride, or also known as the Legend of the Mistletoe Bough. This is Burials and Beyond, is one of the websites that I was looking for after I heard about this story on a podcast called Lore, Lore. If y'all are not listening and you like scary bits of history and different things. If you're interested in like folklore monsters, it's a great podcast, and he's even now turned it into a show on Amazon Prime. But it's different between hearing the story and seeing it acted out is a little too much for me. So let me see if I can find some of the details on it. In the early 17th century, a young girl reportedly named Anne Cope was due to be married at the house on Christmas Day, and this is the Bram's Hill House in Hampshire. It is home of one of UK's most renowned festive spooks, and that's, of course, this particular spook. Anne Cope was due to be married on the house on Christmas Day. After her and her new husband took their vows and celebrated their new nuptials, it was time for Anne, as new bride, to be escorted to the marital bed, because that was an old tradition. They would, hey, we're taking you off, and then we're going to leave you away. We'll take you to your honeymoon, and then we'll leave you. However, before heading for the bedchamber, the young bride suggested that her and her guests play a short game of hide and seek. Anne asked for a 5-minute head start before her guests began the search, and away she went. After her head start, the wedding guests began their hunt. They searched the house from top to bottom and found no sign of the young bride. At first, the guests assumed it to be a trick, as Anne was in high spirits. However, as time passed, concern began to grow for the young girl. Her new husband was distraught when Anne wasn't found, and rumors circulated that she had fled rather than spend her life with Lord Hugh Bethel. Through his grief, he spent decades searching for his lost bride. 50 years after Anne's disappearance, the aging lord was in the attic of his mansion, still searching for clues, and as he was knocking on some oak paneling, a hidden and previously unknown secret door suddenly opened. Inside was an elaborately carved wooden chest. Inside the chest, the skeletal remains of his long-dead bride, still in her wedding dress, holding her bouquet.
Oh.
Inside the lid of the chest were crisscrossing scratches, a sign of the bride's futile attempts to escape. And some of the ideas, apparently, I've heard this before, that the bride was somebody who had gotten locked in a chest, and her ghost was coming out. Now, see, part of the story of this house, as they know as the White Lady ghost, that she goes around, and where it gets known as like this holly bough is like she had mistletoe in her bouquet, and that's like the mistletoe bough. That she had. That's part of the other legends. Now, whether this story is true or not, it is a legend, and that's a lot of folklore. Sometimes there is some truth, and then sometimes a legend. Now, up to this point, I would say it's probably true, but there have been accounts of a ghostly white lady repeatedly passing through the Fleur de Lis room. Reportedly, Michael I of Romania asked to be moved to another room during his stay there in order to not be disturbed by the young woman in white who passes through his bedroom every night. The bride supposedly announces her spectral arrival with her favorite scent, Lily of the Valley. But a ghost of a bride that could have come out of a chest, that sounds exactly like this story to me, and it matches up some artwork that I've seen for the Haunted Mansion. Now, whether this had any inspiration or somebody was familiar with the story and just kind of brought it in, I don't know. Now, Jeff Bayham, also known as Chef Mayhem, he's the guy who runs DoomBuggies.com. He's also part of Mousetalgia podcast, but also he's got a Doom Buggies Spook show, which I haven't checked to see if he's got any new episodes. I haven't listened for a while. He doesn't. He's not very consistent on when he gets an episode out for that. But he runs Doom Buggies. He's got some unlicensed collections and history of all kind, anything in Haunted Mansion. He knows it. I mean, he is the guy. So after hearing this story, both this link and another link I found of the story, I sent it over to him and I said, this sounds very familiar to some artwork that I've seen where the bride is coming up out of a chest. Does this have any connection with some of the early ideas that were going into the Haunted Mansion? Because some of the early concepts of the bride, and there's even you can get, I think, Kat Cressida telling you this story of like the bride looking for her husband, like this mariner who might have been at some point a pirate. I mean, there was stuff where the bride stumbles upon all of his, like one idea was going to be she finds all of his treasure, and he had told her never go into the attic because I don't want you to see what's up there. And so she finds out that he had been a pirate and maybe he murdered her or whatever. But that was also part of the idea where they have a guy who looked like a fisherman who was going to melt into water. Some concepts that didn't get used. But some other stories was the bride was up there waiting for his return. And something had went wrong, and that's supposed to be the bride. So, I mean, there's a lot of different stories have gone around, but this seems to be maybe connected with at least one idea that had been put in there. But now, of course, the current thing is they have the hatchet-wielding Black Widow bride that has murdered all these wealthy men that you can see their heads disappear as you go to her, which to me isn't near as spooky as the mysterious bride of we don't know why she's there, but seems to be she might be connected with the Hatbox Ghost. But that kind of works now because the Hatbox Ghost's head disappearing and going into the Hatbox. Maybe I think they even called her, what do they call her? Hatchaway? They gave her a goofy name, but the Black Widow bride, maybe she did cut his head off, and that's why he's the Hatbox Ghost, because she cut his head off and he's got his head in his Hatbox.
Could be.
That might be the idea, because like in the old, speaking of Ron Howard, the old story had where they had them linked, the Hatbox Ghost and the bride, that they seem to have been connected in that story as well. So if there's an actual connection, maybe Jeff Bayham knows how to find it, because I can't confirm it. I tried to go and look. I looked at different things for Haunted Mansion. I didn't find anything that actually confirms it, but reading about this, it seems to match with what somebody's idea might have been for the original bride at Disneyland in the Haunted Mansion. Pleasant nightmares. The poor bride. But it's a nice kind of spooky thing, because it's one of those tragic stories, like what should have been like one of the happiest nights of her life, and she's playing a game and accidentally locks herself inside a trunk and nobody is able to find her. So she won the game. Congratulations, but it cost her everything.
Yeah.
But it's one of those stories that could be a very true story. Now, I don't believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
But the story of how this woman could have tragically passed away, that's very likely could be a true story.
Yeah, could be.
So I don't know for sure, because it's a legend. It's sort of like a lot of our American folklore. Paul Bunyan. There's probably some truth in there. So like we know John Henry was a real guy, but the story of them gets fabricated so much.
We know that Johnny Appleseed was
Appleseed, a real dude. But we get a little bit of John Chapman. It gets a little fabricated. One of my favorite Disney cartoons. Yeah. Love watching that every year. We actually did an episode on Johnny Appleseed, probably first season, second season, a long time ago. Y'all can go check it out. But that's going to do it for us. Hope you all had fun reliving some fun with us. Heck, we didn't really do much nostalgia, but hope you all had fun with us. And, of course, we want to thank Karen Kennedy, Ricky Pope of Christian Nerds Unite, and Darren Wilhite of the Will Height and Wall Show for their help in making the intro that I have here that you heard at the beginning of the show. I'm going to go ahead and do that because Phil looks like he's not feeling great. So remember, you can email us podcast at neverlandpodcast.com. We are on Twitter at NeverlandPcast. Also on Facebook, if you search for Neverland Podcast, you'll find both our page and our group. Oh, and you know what? On our website, neverlandpodcast.com, there's a little thing in the menu about our shop. That'll take you over to TeePublic. I have some brand new shirts. I don't know how long they stay on sale, but they put them on sale initially for $14. But then eventually it's going to go up to $20. But I have a couple of new designs that I just put up just for you that I hope you will enjoy. I do appreciate when everybody buys shirts, because it does help out the show. I don't get much out of it, but I do at least get something. So yeah, do go and check those out. Make sure, of course, you can leave us a voicemail. I'm not sure if the phone number still works, but give it a try. Let me know what happens. 816-226-6492. Remember to leave us a review, which I do have a new review. I should have popped it up here real quick. Let me go and read. We had a new review that popped up this week that I wanted to read. This actually came from NL Cast, the Nobody's Listening Cast. And basically, if you go to neverlandpodcast.com, if you happen to have a podcast yourself, you'll see a little thing that says My Podcast Reviews. If you click on the nice colorful lettering, you can actually get in there and get set to where you can get emails when you get new reviews and things like that. Very, 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 very fun. Let's see. Let me click on this. This came in through an app where we podcast reviews, but here we go. It's a 5-star review. It says everything Disney, that, and a likable host. And you've got yourself a smart little podcast. Keep it up. Now, I don't know that they're all caught up on the NL Cast. That's probably Nobody's Listening Cast, now known as That Story Show. Actually, the host of that has been a guest with us, James Kennis, and we had some fun talking some horror video games this past fall. But yeah, we're not quite everything Disney anymore, but we still have some Disney content because we did talk about a Marvel movie, we did talk about some Star Wars, and we did talk about the Haunted Mansion. Kind of, you know what? It's a halfway point to Halloween, so what people tell me, so I think that justifies us doing that right now. But yeah, please come leave reviews, and I do appreciate getting your feedback. So until we see you next week, get lost. Minute Adventure, although it probably won't be next week, it might be 2 weeks. That's kind of our way.